10, and we do call the Leesburg CRA meeting to order, the Carver Heights Montclair CRA meeting to order. We can all stand for an invocation led by Dr. Erica Jasper, followed by a pledge of allegiance to the flag.
Lord, we come before you. We thank you for this day. We thank you for your holy presence in this meeting. We ask for your wisdom and your guidance as you lead us, oh God, as we have the mandate, oh God, to do business, to conduct business affairs for the greater of all people here of Leesburg, here in the United States. God, we ask for your wisdom to deal with the matters, oh God. We just thank you in your son, Jesus' name. We pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Ms. Jasper. Item 2 is approve the minutes from the regular meeting held September 16, 2021. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Burry?
Yes.
Commissioner Jasper?
Yes.
Commissioner Connell?
Yes.
Commissioner Connor?
Yes.
Chairperson Christian?
Yes. Item 2 is a resolution. Would someone like to introduce it, please?
Introduced by title only. Resolution of the Carver Heights, Montclair Area Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Leesburg, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute a land purchase contract between the City of Leesburg and Mrs. Gwendolyn C. Allen Karsten for property located at 1115 County Road 468 and providing an effective date.
Somebody want to make a motion? If not,
Move for approval.
oh, okay. Move for approval. Have a second?
A second.
All right, discussion?
I did have a question. I mean, we have any plans of what we're doing with this?
Actually, we've already approved to purchase this contract.
Right, yeah, I understand that.
And I think
This is for the plaque, I believe.
Right, right.
I'm just
So-
curious if we've got any plans at this point for future use.
We still don't, Commissioner. You know, this parcel is just strategic for the city in that it's essentially the eye of that bigger parcel. It's the hole in the donut, if you will. It's an appraised value price. We had that discussion, I think, at the last CRA meeting. Y'all authorized up to 175. A few weeks later, Ms. Allen came back to us herself and through her counsel, Chuck Johnson, and notified us that they would come to the 175. But the reason it's back before your attention is the additional consideration of the signage. Even though we don't have a specific plan, it's a strategic parcel. The price is appraised value, so it's good for us to have in our inventory.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
I do have one. So the reason for our attention tonight is for a memorial signage, is that correct?
Memorial, yes.
And the rationale, the reasoning?
It was the seller's request.
Is the seller paying for it, or is this our expense?
It'll be our expense.
Well, I'm going to say, personally, I disagree with the plaque. If we're paying $5,000 above the appraisal, nobody's giving us anything, we're buying it. Now, if it was a donation, I would say great. But just to systematically give someone a plaque because they asked for it and we're buying it above appraised value, I totally disagree with that whole concept. And I explained it to Mr. Minner, I have no problem buying at 175, which you agreed to, and we said then 175 and that's it. So my vote is no to the plaque. I have no problem buying the house, but I don't want to do a plaque. I don't want to do a balloon. I don't want to do a ribbon. Give you 175. If you want a plaque, go buy a plaque, buy a piece of land, put it wherever. But this is not a historical house, and we're probably going to end up tearing the house down. So I don't see why we will obligate ourselves to put a plaque that we don't know what it's going to say, where it's going to be located. And I just think it's a bad precedent for us to do that without someone giving the city something or some accommodation. We're giving more than what the appraised value is. So I totally disagree with this one.
I agree with Mayor completely.
I second that as well.
So, Mr. Minner, what do you want to do?
Well, it sounds like you need to vote no on the motion on the floor. And then if you vote no on the motion on the floor, I'll ask for direction.
Okay. Any other comments,
No, I agree with the mayor on that. We don't want to set a precedence of doing that kind of stuff.
Yes, sir. Any public comment? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Berry?
No.
Commissioner Jasper?
No.
Commissioner Connell?
No.
Commissioner Connor?
No.
Commissioner Peterson?
No.
Chairperson Christian?
No.
So with that motion failing, I don't know if you need another motion, but the existing direction of the CRA board was to purchase it for 175. So if that's still the flavor, the majority of the flavor, 175, that's it, split the cost, everything's a typical purchase deal, then I'll go back and inform Ms. Allen of that. And Fred can inform Mr. Johnson.
And no need to come back, if no 175, we can take that 175 and do something else with someone who wants to.
We got it, and if there's any other requests from the seller, we'll be very clear that that's your intent.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you.
Roll call, Ms. Andy.
Commissioner Peterson?
Nothing tonight.
Commissioner Berry?
Nothing tonight.
Commissioner Jasper?
Yes, I have two items tonight, or two areas of concern. Number one is Berry Park. I've been taking time out to walk around the community and knock on neighbors' doors and just make my presence known. And many people have been complaining about Berry Park, and there's been some residents congregating there on a daily basis, and I've witnessed this for myself. And my question and my concern is for the city, what can we do about this I know we talked about in times past about getting a fence to go around this area, but these individuals are starting out early, 10 a.m. in the morning, and lasting till 9, 10 o'clock at night. I know there's some drug paraphernalia, as we've spoken before about that, but it seems as though the crowd is getting larger and larger and larger. And myself, I'm a female, I'm a woman, it's not safe for me to travel to that park, and it's a public park, and that's not fair to myself and other residents as well. So what can we do? I know they've made efforts to stop the parking by the pavilion area, but something else needs to be done. I don't know if we have any ideas or any recommendations about Berry Park. In lieu of closing it down temporarily, maybe we can have some cameras put out there, or maybe some police presence. I'm not sure, but not only myself, but other residents have been complaining and complaining to me as well about the issues going on at Berry Park. That's my first issue. And should I pause there? Right now?
Yeah, if you let me address
Okay,
that.
go ahead.
We do have security cameras at Berry Park, so when there are incidents, we can go back and review that. We're still of the opinion that the fence is a critical step to secure it, especially in the evening and early morning hours. And Cliff is actually, I'm gonna say about 90% done with that estimate. And that essentially to copy the framework that we've been doing with the brick columns and the wrought iron fence. Our number is about 300 grand in that ballpark to get that done, which is pretty much right where we thought we would be. So that fence goes all the way around Berry Park, closes off the parking lot, and so it goes up and then down. I think that's north-south. Is that Tuskegee on the north side?
Beecher.
Or is Tuskegee the north-south?
Beecher.
You got
It's Beecher.
Beecher and John.
Right, so I go Beecher and then hit Tuskegee at the end. So it goes all the way around that corner and gets the entire park sealed off. I didn't have a gate bid in there yet, so we anticipate putting a gate similar, just like what's at Ski Beach, that would be open and closed, so you would have daytime usage, and then follow that up with patrol. So as soon as I have that number, I'll bring it back to you with the concept and the plan so you can approve that expense.
Okay. Can I just make one comment? As far as the cameras, I know there's a camera close by the bathroom area, but do we have any other surveillance in that area?
It's just bathroom, I believe. We've got 4.
It's 4 cameras. Are we monitoring those?
We
know?
do.
We do
We do.
monitor those?
We do.
Okay. Because I'm just thinking if we could have police monitoring a little bit more, I guess, closely.
Absolutely.
That'd be greatly appreciated. Maybe come back with some more ideas. And I know the park hours, I saw the sign myself, it's from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. I know around the city of Leesburg, that's the standard. I don't know if we can consider that in the regular board meeting, the city commissioner meeting, to change those hours, like when the sun go down the park hours can close? 'Cause
Right, that would take an action of the commission. That was a commission directive, those
Okay.
hours, and they're standard. So if
Okay.
Berry Park wants to change, then that would need to be a directive of the
Okay.
commission.
Because I just have an issue with that, with
Gotcha.
everyone congregating, it's just not really safe. So maybe we can come back in a couple of weeks or so. Okay. And my second issue is with the homeless population in the Carver Heights area. You know, I live there in that community, and I've seen a couple of instances where there's been fires set in the woods, which is very dangerous. I don't know if we can clean, I know, Mayor, you've made comments about cleaning some of those areas out, and some of those areas on Chester Street, back there by Johns in Georgia, they're back there in that area setting fires to keep warm, to cook their foods and things like that. Maybe potentially in the future, we can have those areas cleaned out because it's just not really safe for the homeowners that have vested in those
Absolutely,
cities.
this is another issue for Chief. I'll bring to his attention.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Commissioner Connell,
Nothing tonight.
Commissioner Connor,
I'd like to comment on the part that Erica brought up. One of the things that we know, have from the police department, have visited that area when the people congregating, because the park is open for the public, but we need to kind of know what's going on there. Do we know anything about that?
I think, yeah, again, that's a question for Chief. So I'll have Chief make sure they're paying extra attention.
Because I think it's the same group every day that land in there from probably about 9, 10 o'clock in the morning and staying until probably 6 or 7 in the evening. And they're still riding up on near the provision. So if they can get with the chief and see if they could kind of like
Absolutely.
go into that area and actually see, put a little force in it and see what they're doing in there. So,
And maybe we can put maybe some of those, like, I had to do it on snow property. We just put a 4x4, some chains to tell people they can't park on the grass. Because what's happening, I think we're making it too easy. We're having the same problem on Mike and Pine Street where people are just hanging out all day. And it's the same group. It's not like I come for a few minutes and Mike comes and Jimmy comes. I come and I sit there all day long. And on my way here, it's like 14 cars that's there. So as Dr. Jasper saying, if I'm a family, I'm not going to go to Berry Park. So what we're saying as a city is that it's okay for people to take over the city park and the rest of us not be able to utilize it. So maybe the police can sit there and write their notes at Berry Park as opposed to being here on Canal Street. Just some of those techniques, and just tell people, Church and Wildwood, the city put, don't park on the grass. Maybe a $50 sign say, do not park on the grass, because we're gonna have a beautiful park. We can't have people killing the grass, and then, it's not a good look. So I think it's a problem, and what's gonna have to happen, we're gonna now have to reverse the mindset, because that's what everybody thinks. I can just go park right there at the park, and we're beautifying it for people to not be able to utilize. So maybe just some 4x4 with some change in the interim, just to tell, because we got to change the mindset. I think that's what we're gonna really need to do immediately, because I think waiting on the fence, it's gonna be harder for us to change people's mindset.
Okay.
Do you think the fence is really going to help? I mean, I supported it last time. When I hear 300,000, I have to turn to both of you and ask if you think that's really going to help.
Well, for me, I'll get some 4x4s and block it off. I think it's gonna be beautiful, but it's gonna take some police presence, because we got, as Dr. Jeff said, the homeless population is on the other side of the trail. So they're actually in the woods, so even if they'll still come in. So it's gonna take us as a police presence and maybe the community to say, it's okay to be here, but you can't be here all day and make it hard for other community members to come and enjoy the park. And so, I don't know if the fence.
Yeah, and I agree with you entirely. I guess my question is, and I supported the fence. I'm just saying, I don't want to go I hate to see us spend $300,000 if it's not going to help solve keeping people out. That's all. I'm just raising that question. I've been by Berry Park. I'm not that familiar with it, but I just throw that out for discussion.
But I invite the commissioners any time of the day, just take a ride by there and just look. I mean, it's all day, every day. It's not like it's I missed, nobody was there. It's all day, every day. So I do invite the commissioners to go by and just take a look. I mean, because I wouldn't want to go and do a picnic at there, or, we, me and my wife, we walk the trails often, but it has become a problematic area for us. So I don't know, I can't really say the fence will solve it, it'll make it look pretty. I don't know if it'll do the job or not. I just don't know.
I've also heard stories of other individuals had events out there, and the homeless people came out, and they end up feeding the homeless people for their event just to keep the peace, so to speak. So I think there's something that needs to be done. So I'm not sure if the fence would fix the problem, but I think it will beautify the area. I'm not sure. I can't answer that.
And, yeah, like I said, I supported the fence. I was just raising the question, when I heard the $300,000 number again. I mean, you know where I'm going with that.
Right.
Well, I think it's a two-pronged, the homeless and the people gathering, but I'm with the fence because it definitely beautify the area. But as long as those two other pieces become involved with it, I think it'll possibly solve that problem. Because once we put the fence up, then the homeless will have to walk all the way around to get in. They might not want to walk, so that solves half of that problem.
Yeah, we definitely need to do something about that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I'm good. I just heard that $300,000 number just hit me hard, and I guess my challenge was, were there better ways to spend that money to make the park safer and more friendly to the residents? That's where I was going with that. I probably didn't say it all properly.
And that may be a conversation we have to have once Al brings the final numbers to us.
Commissioner Roebuck, you have any roll call comments?
Nothing tonight.
Chairperson Christian?
Nothing tonight. Okay. We'll move
you.
to our city commission meeting. Thank you. Good evening. The time now is 5:31, and we'll begin our Leesburg City Commission meeting. We've already had our pledge and our invocation, and so we'll move right into our city council agenda tonight. We have no proclamations, and tab 3 is the presentations of the Pine Street Complete Streets and Redevelopment Final Concept Brief. I think Cliff Kelsey and CPH is here tonight to lead us in our presentation.
Well, thank you, Commissioners. We've been working on the Pine Street Redevelopment Complete Street Plan. We've held 2 public outreach workshops with the stakeholders to really come up with some ideas on how to treat the road and really enhance the vibrancy of the corridor. So today what we want to do is present to you just where we're at with the planning portion of the conceptual design, and get your feedback on what we can do to get the project implemented.
Good evening. My name is Kurt Lumen with CPH. I'm the project manager for this project for CPH. As Nick had mentioned, we went through a couple stakeholder meetings with the community to come up, and really we wanted to get the feedback from the community and the city as well to find out what kind of improvements they're looking for to help balance the needs for the area, for the roadway. So you can see the existing conditions here. Next slide, please. Yeah, next slide, please. There we go. So this is the overall layout, essentially from Canal Street on the west over to Lake Street on the east. As you can see, it's kind of hard to see, but on the upper left corner of the slide there, it's a new aquatic center that's under construction now. So during that project, the city donated an additional 30 feet of right-of-way, which you can see in the yellow line along the north side of Pine Street. And so what that helped us do is meander the roadway to the north to add some on-street parking, doing some intersection improvements with the brick pavers, potentially a roundabout at Rambo, and then some other safety improvements as we go further east behind UF Health. Next slide. So looking at a little more detail, kind of on a block-by-block basis or segment by segment. This is the first segment from Canal Street to Childs. Again, where we were able to meander the road north to add some on-street parking, which was really one of the needs of the community for the businesses on the south side, but also add some parking, for the aquatic center on the north, and really enhance the corridor with some landscaping, 8-foot wide sidewalks, try and do some traffic calming. There is a raised crosswalk near the driveway to the aquatic center. That was one of the requests during the public meeting, to have pedestrians cross from the north to south side by the businesses. and also help provide some traffic calming. So the next segment here from Childs over to about Knott Street. Again, this was kind of I think a desire from everybody in the community to provide a statement piece for the corridor. So we did look at doing a roundabout. It will require partnership and coordination with UF Health to accommodate the roundabout. It does require some land acquisition from, or right-of-way take from the hospital, or a partnership is what we're looking for to do to accommodate the roundabout. But again, this will provide a statement piece for the community, potentially add some aesthetics, an opportunity for a statue or a monument inside of a roundabout at this intersection, and also provide more traffic calming. In the last segment, as we get behind UF Health, again, slowing the cars down, keeping the 8-foot wide sidewalks, having the landscape areas, and having raised crosswalks again for the employees of UF Health to get to the south side of the roadway in this corridor. And again, it's really just to help make it more pedestrian friendly, slow the cars down, and make it multimodal for all users. So the intersection at Rambo is one of the ones where we had to look at some, I guess, various options. One, there was a desire, if you look at the left roundabout, that's the one that we had in the initial concept. It's a smaller roundabout. It have a brick paver center island, and that's to accommodate the design vehicles, making sure the trucks can turn the corners, make the maneuvers, and utilize the central island to traverse it, for the vehicle tracking. The center roundabout is larger. It requires a little more area of the intersection, but it provides a green space in the middle, and that's where you can add a community feature, some sort of monument in the island to help identify Pine Street, the corridor, but still provide the traffic calming and some aesthetics for the intersection. As I mentioned, it will require coordination and a partnership with UF Health to acquire the additional right-of-way needed. And the picture on the right is the outcome if UF Health doesn't participate. We'll have to do, we can beautify the intersection just with some brick pavers for the crosswalk, just again to signify, this is a crossing. So essentially, that was it in a nutshell. There's not a lot to it, and obviously we can answer a lot of questions if you have any questions on the design or the concept. But where we go from here, hopefully we get direction from commission tonight. I believe a few meetings ago we got authorization for the final design phase. So we will move into the 90% design, permitting for the project, and then the final design ending March of next year.
I just had a question about the roundabouts with commercial semi-type traffic. Does that play into what we can have or not? I would assume that the hospital has some of that traffic going that way. I don't know whether it would naturally go back towards, what is that, Lake Street, on the other end?
So both these roundabout designs take into account what we call FDOT design standards, the WB50, which is a typical semi-truck going through this area. We use AutoCAD. It has an auto turn analysis that shows the vehicle tracking, which require, the turning radiuses, and like I said, with the trailer being so far back, it shows where the wheels, have to, they track behind the tractor.
So the way those are designed to have accommodated for all of that?
Right.
Between all three intersections, for all the intersections actually. And
Also,
emergency vehicles.
Yeah, emergency vehicles, solid waste trucks, semi-trucks. It's designed for all the vehicles.
And all that green space that was shown, that's actually going to have planting and trees and stuff like that. So it'll actually kind of create that boulevard feel and through the whole corridor.
And also include lighting along the corridor as well to match the lighting along Main Street.
Could you go over what you're wanting to do with the intersection at Childs and Pine Street? Couldn't really
Go
tell.
back a few slides. Keep going. One more. Or two more, I think. One more. So this is the intersection of Childs. It's really just to provide the brick paver crosswalk similar to Main Street. Follow the same pattern, same brick type to make it, kind of uniform throughout the city.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Any other comments from the commission?
I guess my only question, the width of the road, when I think of Pine Street now, especially off of Canal Street, it's very narrow. How wide will the road be?
So we're looking, one of the things to help do the traffic calming is to narrow the road. Actually, I think the existing road now is fairly wide because people can park on the road that they're now. So we're looking to have two 10-foot travel lanes, which is the minimum standards for like a local or collector type roadway, and having on-street parking for the first segment between Canal and Childs. But for the remainder of the roadway, there'd be two 10-foot travel lanes, which is meeting the FDOT design criteria for local municipalities.
And I think Commissioner Peterson, probably right now, people can park on the road. So with this new design, people won't park on the road. They'll be off the road. We'll have two 10-foot roadways going through, which is standard. But right now, you have the 10 feet, but people are actually parking within the 10 feet. So that's kind of really, you probably got 7 feet with the cars being parked on the road. So this will move the cars off the road to their own designated on-site parking, on-street parking.
Right, and that allows for the wider sidewalks in the landscape area to add the lighting and the beautification element of it. Because currently out there's 5-foot sidewalks, if any sidewalks, and then this will allow us to put 8-foot sidewalks out there as well as the green space.
So the typical, that's simple, the Main Street, the same 10 feet is Main Street, or are you familiar with Main Street at all? The 10 feet?
Yes, and I guess they all seem narrow to me. So here we are spending all this money. That's my whole point. I mean, I just want to be sure the road's wide enough. I see school buses coming through here, larger trucks, with the swim pool and so forth. I think it's a great design. I just want to be sure we're spending all this money. I want to be sure the road's wide enough.
Yes, sir.
Any public comment? And I just want to thank CPH because we did have several community meetings. Hospital was there, some downtown organization was there, and I think they did a very good job listening to everyone's concerns and doing their best to put it into the plan. So I do want to thank CPH for listening and implementing a plan that kind of kept everybody happy. Everybody got a little bit of what they wanted. Hopefully we can get a good roundabout. Dr. Jasper.
Dr. Jasper here, Leesburg, Florida. I just want to give kudos to CPH and also to Cliff and his staff. Once again, I just want to echo what you said. They did a wonderful job meeting with the community and listening to the design concept. So I just want to give you guys kudos for that publicly and say thank you. And also, too, I do like the idea of the larger roundabout, just a FYI. Thank you.
I think they've heard that 3 or 4 times, right?
Have we started talking to the hospital yet, Al, on the idea of a roundabout?
A little bit. We've had initial talks, but we'll go in earnest now.
Okay.
Right. We want to get a little more direction from the commission before we move
We
forward.
wanted to make sure you guys were good, and if it looks like your feedback is that. So next step is the hospital and kind of getting it out to bid. Or finishing design.
Right.
Out to bid.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I
sir.
missed a big step there.
I think everybody's okay with the concept. All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate your hard work and dedication to Leesburg.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
This time, tab 4 is our public comment. This section reserved for members of the public to bring up matters of concern, opportunities for praise. Issues brought up will not be discussed in detail at this meeting. Issue will either be referred to the proper staff or be scheduled for consideration at a future city commission meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, please. Do we have any public comment tonight? Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Put that down, ma'am.
So sorry. I'm a little short. My name is Tanya Thompson. I live at 1037, no? I live in Pleasant View in Leesburg. I'm nervous, so please excuse me.
Don't be nervous. You're among friends. You're among friends.
Okay. And I wanted to talk about the A21 Walk for Freedom that we are doing in partnership with the Father's House Church and with A21, which is a global organization that fights against human trafficking. We're actually doing the walk this Saturday. Registration is actually going to be held in this room, and we're going to do a walk around the Venetian Garden Park. The walk starts at 9. The first step will actually be taken at 10, and then it is a silent walk single file, and it is to bring awareness to the community about human trafficking. After the walk, around 11, we will have what we call a lunch and learn, where we have some people that are a part of a anti-human trafficking task force that will come in and share their information about human trafficking. So I just wanted to make the community aware that this is happening. If anybody is interested in attending the walk, you can go to A21.org/Leesburg. We currently have 265 people registered in the community, and we're hoping to break that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other more public comment? Yes, sir.
David Serdar, 66 Wintergreen Drive, Fruitland Park, Florida, 347. What we can do today can improve all our tomorrows. You know, I live in Fruitland Park, but I go to commissioner meetings in Eustis, Lady Lake, Fruitland Park, Leesburg, Mount Dora, Tavares, Clearmont, Ocala, and around the state and counties. I mean, last week I was in the building and zoning of the Lake County Commissioners meeting, and there is a Lake County Commissioners meeting tomorrow. I have a Lake County pin now. And it's my honor to be in front of you folks again. Well, folks, you are the elected officials, the gladiators that get elected. You know, Troy Singer, the chairman of the League of Cities. I talked to him directly. I got his t-shirt. He's got to run for re-election. What you do, you can't make everybody happy. You got to make the decisions. But I go to a lot of churches. Sunday, I passed Pastor John Christians, the mayor of Leesburg, and I went over to Josh Blake, a commissioner in Lake County, my commissioner, whose dad is a minister, and he's 2 years younger than me. You know, I hope a lot of people go to church. You know, I don't drink or drug. I'm no saint. But Bike Fest is coming up in Leesburg. And I love coming to Leesburg downtown. They had a car show Saturday. Did I see any of you folks? I was there late. What a cool place to be. You know, I've retired from Lake County, Illinois. I've run for office up there. Won a primary, but I'm worried about our kids' future. I used to work at Leesburg High School. I do it out of my heart. You know, a lot of people got to get paid for everything. But, you know, I went to a Tavares meeting. Well, I'm just humbled to be able to be in Lake County, Florida now. I know we had 2 big bass tournaments in the last 2 weeks here in Leesburg. One was for high school kids or juniors. And, you know, it's not the days of your life, it's the life in your day. Every day is a blessing to be alive. And if we can make a difference for our kids' future, hey, I'm about to be in a school board meeting in Lake County. I've been going to those quite a bit. My dad was an elementary school principal, same school he went to as a child. He died 3 years ago. My mother's 93. Our mayor right here, his dad was a minister, and now he's leading the church. His church. It is a difference. You know, I talk loud. I'm getting hard to hear it. I'm just going to end up dying. It is what you do while you're living. I know a lot of different churches, and I'm just privileged to be in front of you again, and I want you to know I'm a concerned senior citizen that goes to Tallahassee. I do have the card to the governor. I do talk to the governor's office. We're going to have a new, Senate president and House Speaker I've met. They've already voted on the new ones for 2022. Elections are going to come up in 2022. You know, our country, a house divided against itself cannot stand. I hope it gets to be peaceful.
About 10 more seconds, Mr. Sit down.
Thank you for you know, you're working with the Boys Club. You're working. I saw your agenda. I hope more people stand up in public comment. It is my honor to be in front of you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move over to the consent agenda where routine items are placed on the consent agenda to expedite the meeting. If the commissioner staff wish to discuss any item, the procedure is as follows. Pull the items from the consent agenda, vote on remaining items with one roll call vote, and discuss each pulled item and vote by roll call. Are there any items the commission would like to pull tonight?
5C3.
Five B1, 5C1, 5C6.
And I need to pull 5C7 and 5C13.
On the 5B1, you want A and B?
But I'll entertain a motion to approve the remaining items.
So moved.
Second.
With a proper second, roll call, please.
Commissioner Connell,
Yes.
Commissioner Roebuck,
Yes.
Commissioner Bury,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Mayor Christian.
Yes. Item 5B1A. I'm sorry, 5B is a resolution. Someone like to introduce 5B?
So, yeah, sure. I'll introduce and ask that it be read by title only.
Thank you, sir.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Leesburg, Florida, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a construction change order number 1 with Evergreen Construction Management, Inc. for the Teen Center project in the amount of $166,022.62 and providing an effective date.
For a motion,
Move for approval.
Second.
discussion?
I pulled it because Evergreen's a customer, so I need to abstain.
Yes, sir. Any other comments from the public? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bury,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Connell,
Yes.
Mayor Christian.
Yes. 5B1, I'm sorry, 5BA1B is a resolution. Someone like to introduce it, please.
I'll introduce, ask to be read by title only.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Leesburg, Florida, amending the project budget, adding an additional $240,000 and authorizing the city manager to approve additional expenditures such as construction change orders and owner-supplied equipment up to the amended project budget amount and providing an effective date.
A motion,
Move for approval.
Second.
moving properly. Second, discussion?
I need to abstain from this as well.
Yes, sir. Any comments from the commission or the public? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Connell,
Yes.
Commissioner Bury,
Yes.
Mayor Christian.
Yes. Item 5C1.
I'll introduce, ask to be read by title only.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Leesburg, Florida, approving the conveyance of a vacant lot to Carmela Daly for development of a single-family home as part of the in-house infill housing program and providing an effective date.
Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Discussion?
Homes and Partnerships, a customer, so I need to abstain.
Any other comments from the commission? From the public? Mr. Thomas, you got anything to add on this one? All right. Is the homeowner here? Ms. Daly? She's not? Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Connell,
Yes.
Commissioner Bury,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Mayor Christian.
Yes. 5C3.
I'll introduce to be read by title only, please.
Thank you.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Leesburg, Florida, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a facility use agreement with the Boys and Girls Club of Central Florida, Inc., and providing an effective date.
A motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Second, discussion?
Yeah, I pulled this just because I saw the 40-year time on it, and I know we had some discussion about a 50-year lease on a building we had at the airport that we didn't like, and I just wanted to have some comment whether we thought 40 years was appropriate.
He's acting like 40 years.
So in the airport, I'd probably always want to see the shorter leases since we're getting paid, but I kind of view this one as what we're getting paid is them running the program for us. So I kind of think in this case, it's actually in our benefit for it to be longer because they're committing to providing the programming, which is what we're getting in return. Just my thought.
Yeah, I would only throw out, we've had this discussion a little bit with other commissions. When we started this venture, I guess 3 years ago now, we signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding between the City Commission and the Boys and Girls Club that kind of kicked off the design of the teen center and put everything, all the mechanisms in place And that's where the initial 40-year term started. I would add that to this discussion. The second thing I'd add to the discussion too is the 40-year commitment. It is, through all that process, there was a discussion amongst the commissioners about do we want a teen center? How do we manage a teen center? Should it be the city's programming? And ultimately, the Boys and Girls Club came to be a big compromise with some of the commissioners want to have a teen center and keep it in-house, and some other commissioners not wanting a teen center at all. And so the Boys and Girls Club seemed like to be a good vehicle. Okay, we have capital dollars we can spend and a long-term lease. This is kind of Commissioner Roebuck's position years gone by, and it's remained the same with the 40-year term. I think is viewed as, okay, cool, we got it, keeps it out of the general fund. And then the third thing I would add in there, that 40-year commitment was driven by the Boys and Girls Club. They're hard negotiators, but essentially their 40-year commitment was because it came hand in hand with the $500,000 contribution. And their position was that because of the contribution level of the $500,000, their donors would want to see a long-term commitment to the facility, hence 40 years. So those are all the things that went into the 40-year term.
Good.
For me, Al, I think in the first paragraph, it talks about the teen center being exclusive use for the club. Have no problem with that. Then it talks about the city's gymnasium is not part of the club, but then it says, subject to future agreement that the city and the club shall enter into for use of the gym from time to time by club members. It appears that we have a gymnasium that's been in existence before. The club builds a club. We can't go into the club, but we're gonna say, time to time, you can come and kick the city residents out and use the gym. That kind of seems a little unfair. I think it's not that, I think that citizens should go into the center, but I don't think we should enter in agreements where we tell the club that whenever you want to, you just call the city and we get to use the gymnasium. I think that should be programmed with what the city's already doing, and the city should not feel pressured to have to shut down the gymnasium and our current programming for the club to utilize. I think that should be a little better worded, that future down the road, that the city is not feeling pressured that we have to be obligated. And it says here in this first paragraph, it says, shall enter the use of the gym from time to time by club members at a future agreement. So I just want to make sure that we all are clear, and I know you said they're hard negotiated, but that to me, it just shouldn't be part of the negotiation.
Yeah, no, but that I think too, and Fred helped me out here, but that's future agreement. So that's not a bulldoze. They want to use it, they get in. They have to seek, Boys and Girls Club has to seek a future agreement from the city to be able to use the basketball area.
Okay.
So that's not carte blanche.
Okay.
That's in the city's favor. That gives Boys and Girls Club the platform to say, hey, we'd like to use the basketball court. That then gives us the ability to say, okay, this works, or no, it doesn't. It puts us in the driver's seat. So I think we're still in control. I don't envision that being exercised. It is in the agreement if for future consideration, but remember that's future agreement. So both parties have to mutually agree.
And I guess my thing is, why is it in the agreement? I mean, it's just like if me as a citizen say my church wants to use the gymnasium, I think we already have a procedure in place that we go to the city, we pay a fee to use the gymnasium, and I think we shouldn't probably use the same fee structure, but I don't think that they should get preferred treatment, because I see it being a problem 5 years down the road, new commission, new staff, and I just think it puts the city in a disadvantage because it's in this agreement. And if I came to the city from the club perspective 5 years from now, I'm gonna say, it says here in a future agreement, so I'm here for my future agreement. So that seems to me that you're talking about a legal document or a contract of an agreement, not that I wanna use the gym on Fridays afternoon at 6 o'clock, because that could just be a simple phone call. This puts like a legal, that I can sit down and draw up a document to say, give me every Friday at 6 o'clock from 6 to 12, and that's gonna be my agreement. Then somebody's gonna be sitting in the city council voting on an agreement 2 years from now. That's just one of my concerns, it's been my concern from day one, is that the city's gymnasium is something that was built years ago for the entire community. If any group monopolizes that, I think it disenfranchises the intent of what we were trying to do with the gymnasium. So that just kind of strikes out a real alarming for me for that agreement. And I think it puts us, even though we're in the driver's seat today, but I think 3 or 4 years from now that someone's going to sit down and say, let's draw up an agreement that we can take over your 10,000 square foot gymnasium for our use. And I just don't think that's fair or adequate. It shouldn't even be in the document. That's just one, and then it comes a little further. Talks about we're going to keep insurance, and it talks about if the club, for the maintenance part, the city is responsible for all maintenance repairs, of course, with the defects of construction, and the club shall conduct all routine maintenance and clean up the interior of the center, maintain them, and then if they have a problem, they call the city, and then we're responsible for fixing it. If we don't fix it, then they can fix it within 15 days, and the city will receive an invoice for the club for reimbursement of such costs. Things like that's pro Boys and Girls Club. They have a problem, they tell us to fix it, we don't fix it, they fix it, then send us an invoice. Then it goes a little further where the city comes in on entering inspection. If the city sees a problem, it says on section 10 that the city shall see being clubs in compliance that we shall recover the cost thereof from the club, in which case the out-of-pocket cost shall be considered additional rent from the club within 15 days after the club's receipt. And the track record is I would like for us to have something in place where we are inspecting this facility on a regular basis. We're having a checklist because even if I'm not on the council as a community member, I want to be able to hold somebody accountable who did not check to make sure that this facility is not being maintained properly and someone did a checklist or someone didn't do a checklist. But what it's saying here is that the city may or may not fix the problem. So we go and find a deficiency, and if we don't fix it, it can continue to be in that same deficient manner. Other side is that the club sees something that they want us to do it. We don't do it. They can fix it and send us a bill. I think it should be the same way. If we go in there and find that something that they've done or someone broke something that either we said there's a deficiency, we fix it and send them a bill. Then I would go and say, will the city council really put pressure on a nonprofit to pay a $10,000 bill for anything that's been broken? I just think that it's not really written to protect the city, and the previous facilities that the club has been in, they have not taken very good care of it. So I would like to see us add something where we are monitoring this facility on a regular basis to make sure that it's being kept to a city of Leesburg standard. And because of the track record, I think that is imperative for us to have in this agreement, especially at 40 years. We should be making sure that this building is being maintained properly.
That provision where they are able to assess the city for things was added by them. It was much worse. Al and I pushed back pretty hard on that. And believe it or not, what you're seeing is a significant compromise on their part from what they proposed initially. It was really bad to begin with. And this was about as far as we could get with them. If it's the will of the commission, we can go back to them and try again. But they were very insistent on having that in there. Initially, I told them it had to come out completely. And they said, no, we're not going to proceed with that. So we went back and forth, and this is what ended up being resolved.
So what was your take? Fred, what was your pushback on it?
I told them that provision, as they initially put it in, had to come out. And they said, no way, we want it in there. And it appears in several places besides the ones you flagged. It's pretty much throughout the lease here and there. But this is the best we could get it in negotiations with them. And if the commission turns it down, then we go back to them and say, hey, we've got a problem. We need to talk further about this.
Well, I kind of got a problem, but I'll listen to other commissioners and see how they feel about it.
Yeah, I agree with the mayor that's I think too aggressive, especially someone that we're supposed to be a partner. We're about to talk about giving them $300,000, and we've given them money in the past in buildings, and it just seems like this is a lease between, two adversaries. Yeah, I'd say we just send it back. And
I pretty much had kind of the same conversation with Al this afternoon. My concern was pretty much what your concern is, Mayor, also.
I think you brought up a good point, Mayor. Being a past board member of Boys and Girls Club, I can tell you these when you bring in hundreds of kids to a property like this, I mean, they're tough on buildings. I don't, we're spending, about 5 times what they're spending on the building to construct it. I'm pro Boys and Girls Club. I think this is going to be a great for the city, but I don't think it's unreasonable. The way I read it, we need to cover any defects from construction for a period of time, but the kids' wear and tear, I would say that should fall on the club, on the normal wear and tear from the kids. I don't think that's unreasonable. And as far as your first comment, John, I read that as I see the sentence above it, where we have exclusive control of the gym, and I respect your comments there, but I know that language that concerns you, but a future commission could change it, with or without that clause there.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you on the maintenance.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just to bring this to closure and get a lease done as we start to open it, I would ask that the commission grant Fred the authority to modify those changes. So we'll redline it and send it to them with us already executing it, so it doesn't have to come back to this body. And then they have it before them, what they know is an approved document. And if they fail to sign it, then we'll be back before you, and if they sign it,
Well,
it's done.
I'm sure they're maintaining all their other buildings. I mean, and I have no problem with them asking, but I don't think it's unreasonable to push back on the club maintaining the building and covering.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing.
Okay,
I'm just
okay.
saying give Fred the authority to modify the agreement.
Oh, I misunderstood you. I'm fine.
Execute it. So vote.
I'm fine.
And you need an amendment to modify it, and then vote yes so that you guys can execute it, and then it's up to the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay. Do we have any public comment before we make this amendment? Okay. So we basically need an amendment to send it to Fred, can go and negotiate with the club on the maintenance and those other
Maintenance
items that we
issues.
brought up.
Are you good with that, Fred?
Yes.
Okay.
So you need an amendment to allow Fred to modify the maintenance clauses.
make a motion to amend to allow Fred to modify the maintenance clauses per our discussion.
Second, and then further discussion. And for the audience sake, and I'm pro Boys and Girls Club, but I think for the record, we're not charging any rent. So if someone's giving me a bill, and I think $1, that's the least that you say maintain what you've been given, almost $3 million facility. I think that's just something that should be just understood. But I'm still on the thing that we need monitoring to make sure that it's at a city level. All those in roll call on the amendment?
Commissioner Roebuck,
Yes.
Commissioner Burry,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Connell,
Yes.
Mayor Christian.
Yes. Vote on the main motion, please.
Commissioner Burry,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Connell,
Yes.
Commissioner Roebuck,
Yes.
Mayor Christian.
Yes. Item 5C6 is a resolution. Would someone like to introduce it, please?
I'll introduce as by title only.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Leesburg, Florida, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a vacant land sales contract between the City of Leesburg and Bertha M. Hill for city-owned lot at 2107 Waitman Avenue and providing an effective date.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, discussion?
Yeah, so I pulled this. I think it's great that, the work that Ken's doing in finding homeowners that want to build houses in the communities they live in. That's fully support that. Just this one is a little bit different than some of the others because it's with an individual owner as opposed to, the others have been with nonprofits that have a track record of building. And so, and it's not about this one specifically, but I'd like to make the amendment here and then see this just kind of standard practice on all lots we would sell to an individual, that if they don't build within 5 years, the city would have the right to purchase it back at the original sales price, mostly just to stop that, if a property isn't being maintained or something and we wanted to go back, we'd have at least some say in doing that. And I believe Ken reached out to the homeowner already, and they were fine with that. They plan on building sooner than that.
So you okay making that amendment, Mr. Roebuck?
Yeah, so I'll make I'd like to amend to add, to give the city the right to repurchase the property at the sales price in 5 years if construction hasn't started.
Okay. Do you have a second on that?
Second.
Okay. Ken, you got anything you want to add? All right. Any further discussion from the commission? From the audience? Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Connell,
Yes.
Commissioner Roebuck,
Yes.
Commissioner Bury,
Yes.
Mayor Christian.
Yes. Roll call on the main motion, please.
Commissioner Connell,
Just the main motions.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Roebuck,
Yes.
Commissioner Bury,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Mayor Christian.
Yes. And Ms. Hill is here tonight, so congratulations, Ms. Hill. I know, that is Erica Jasper's mom. Yes, a twin. 5C7 is a resolution. Someone like to introduce it, please.
Introduce that spirit by title only.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Leesburg, Florida, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute civic organization funding agreements for fiscal year 2021-22 with Band Parents Association of Leesburg High School, Inc., Boys and Girls Club of Central Florida, Inc., Community Development Corporation of Leesburg, Inc., Leesburg Area Chamber of Commerce, Inc., Leesburg Arts Festival, DBA, Leesburg Center for the Arts, Leesburg Partnership, Inc., and Melon Patch Players, Inc., and providing an effective date.
Have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
I pulled this to abstain. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Roebuck,
Yes.
Commissioner Bury,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Connell.
Yes.
5C13 is a resolution. Would someone like to introduce it, please?
Introduce that spirit by title only.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Leesburg, Florida, authorizing approval of the American Recovery Grant funding agreements and providing an effective date.
Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Moving to proper second. Any discussion from the commission?
Yeah, I'd like to amend the Boys and Girls Club agreement, that it would be contingent on them agreeing to a lease with us on the facility. Give them a little extra incentive to accept our changes, $300,000 incentive.
Do I have a second?
Second.
In discussion? Okay, let's vote on the amendment, please.
Commissioner Bury,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Connell,
Yes.
Commissioner Roebuck,
Yes.
Mayor Christian.
Yes. Main motion, please.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Connell,
Yes.
Commissioner Roebuck,
Yes.
Commissioner Bury,
Yes.
Mayor Christian.
And I'm abstaining. Okay, so now we're moving to our public hearings and non-routine items. Item 6B this is our first reading of 6B1. Would someone like to introduce it, please?
I'll introduce. Has to be read by title only.
An ordinance of the City of Leesburg, Florida, annexing certain real property consisting of approximately 18.5 plus minus acres, being generally located south of U.S. Highway 441 and east of Sunnyside Drive, lying in Section 33, Township 19 South, Range 25 East, Lake County, Florida, providing that said property so annexed shall be liable for its proportionate share of the existing and future indebtedness of said city, providing that such annexed property shall be subject to all laws and ordinances of said city, as if all such territory had been a part of the City of Leesburg at the time of passage and approval of said laws and ordinances, providing that such annexed territory shall be placed in City Commission District 1, and providing an effective date.
It's been a first reading. Are there any comments from the commission tonight? Okay. Yes, sir.
Well, I guess in summary, this came before the commission before. It looks like the only thing that really changed is what, the density levels? Is that?
Dan is saying yes.
For the whole thing, the aggregate, just on this, it went down.
Dan Miller, Planning and Zoning, they did ask for an increase to 164 units total.
That's the whole thing.
Okay.
So that's 18 on the one side and 4.
4 on this parcel.
Yeah.
Yeah, on this 18 acres, it dropped from 18 lots to 4.
Okay. Any other commission comment?
So is part of the large parcel, is part of that covered? I mean, I know the old Sunnyside agreement, which I know isn't legally binding on us, but still, is part of that large parcel covered by that? All of it? None of it?
My understanding is that it is.
All of it, the whole parcel is part, and it's all part of the. I'm sorry, I phrased that wrong. All of it under the low density portion, the high density portion, a mix.
Part of it is in the low, and part of it, I believe, was in the very low.
Okay, but before the next meeting, could we get a breakdown, of kind of how many acres is in the low, how many is in the very low, and so we can kind of understand what that looks like?
Any other commission comments? Nothing, Mr. Burr?
We're looking at 3 different things, so I think I'll reserve my comments till we get to 3.
Okay. So this is the first reading, but because you did come out tonight, we're going to allow the public to comment. Please keep them 3 minutes, please. Mr. Tucker, you're first.
Yes, because it is a first reading, the Sunnyside Association, we're not going to present tonight. We'll wait till the next meeting when the vote does come. And I'd ask our citizens who came out to please hold your concerns until the next meeting too, so we can get this meeting over with, and it'll save a lot of time in the future. We don't want to be redundant. We're going to have to hear the same thing over and over again. We'll get to the point next time. The question was asked, does it split? Yes, it's about a 50-50 split. About half of it's in the low and half of it's in the very low. That was in my presentation from the last commission meeting. I did enter it in a record, so your clerk should have all that info. The only other thing I'll close with, most of you probably have, but if you haven't, please, I'm asking you, go out to Sunnyside and take your leisurely drive. And I don't mean just drive out to where this is. Drive around the interior Sunnyside. Look around. Look what the development trend has been the last 20 years. Just look around and see if you think this development fits. I think it'll be pretty clear.
Thank you, sir. Are there any more comments?
Greg Belleville, representing Sunnyside, PUD, as well as all 3. And to save everybody time, we won't do a presentation either tonight. In fact, all my experts are not here, so that we recognize this was first reading, and we'll have the actual documentation of how much was in each category, and we actually have graphics that show that, and we'll be presenting that to you. And if you'd like, we'll actually get them to you ahead of time, so you'll have them for your packets before the second reading. And it's not 50-50, but we'll have that for you. Anyway, in the interest of time, we'll have all our experts here for the second reading, and because we've already been through this a few times, so we already know what the issues are. So we'll have all our stuff prepared for that. And with that, we'd like to answer any questions, or rather sit down, and we can go ahead and carry on with the evening.
All right, thank you, Greg. Okay, we'll move on to B2. This item will lay over, and B2 is the ordinance. Someone like to introduce it, please?
Introduced and asked to read by title only.
Thank you.
An ordinance amending the future land use map of the comprehensive plan of the city of Leesburg changing the future land use map designation of certain property containing 18.5 plus minus acres from Lake County Rural to City of Leesburg Estate for property generally located south of U.S. Highway 441 and east of Sunnyside Drive as legally described in Section 33, Township 19 South, Range 25 East, Lake County, Florida, and providing an effective date.
Any comments from the commission? You have anything, Dan?
Yes, sir. On the ordinance itself for this future land use map change, we need to delete Section 2 that transmits the ordinance to the DEO. This ordinance was written probably it's been a while since it's been written, and during the summer, the state of Florida changed the large-scale transmittal requirements from 10 acres to 50, so this one is no longer considered a large-scale amendment. So we will not be transmitting. I just need to delete that Section 2 that says that in the ordinance, please.
Okay. So, Freddie, we need to delete that tonight, or is that for the next?
No, that'd be for the next meeting.
Okay. So delete Section 2. Okay, any other comments from the commission? Any comments from the public? Yes, sir.
I will just ask that if the land split is turned in early, to please put it on the planning and zoning section, because if it is greatly off from what my experts have deemed it to be, I'd like to know and see where we differ in opinion.
Okay. Fred, can we put on a planning and zoning, or?
It wouldn't go back to planning and zoning, it's already been there.
I think he wanted to. Oh, is that, Al, you think we can do that, or?
If Mr. Tucker likes, I'll be glad to send him one personally.
Okay. So Greg's gonna send one to Mr. Can you disseminate to everybody else, Mr. Tucker? The Sunnyside? Okay. All right.
No problem.
Thank you.
I believe in transparency.
Okay.
Besides, I know everybody that lives out there, and they know where I live, so I'm not.
Just email it to everybody, Greg. All right, so that item will also lay over. We go to item 3, it's also first reading. Would someone like to introduce it, please?
Introduced, not to be read by title only.
Thank you.
An ordinance of the City of Leesburg, Florida, changing the zoning on approximately 139 plus minus acres from Lake County R1 rural residential to city PUD planned unit development to allow for single-family residential subdivision for property generally located south of U.S. Highway 441 and east of Sunnyside Drive, as legally described in Section 33, Township 19 South, Range 25 East, Lake County, Florida, and providing an effective date.
Any commission comments?
Yeah, I would like to comment that, number one, this project that's being brought forward is similar to what was brought forward 10 months ago, and it was voted down. Of course, all you know that. Our planning commission voted it down 7-0. The concerns from that meeting in December were that the roads could not handle the capacity, and that the density was a lot higher than what had been negotiated through the 2004 agreement, along with just it was too dense a neighborhood for that area. Neither of those things have changed. The roads have not been improved significantly. I think the county did some work there, but I can't really tell what they've done. And the density actually in the interior piece has gone up, not down. So I'm not in favor of this project.
And I'll just say, because I was in favor of this the last time that it came around at the old densities, but I do think some things have changed since then. For me, the big thing has been all the growth that we've seen on the south side that was kind of pie in the sky a year ago, and now we've got a bunch of approved developments, and we've had a lot of conversations about our CUP and where the water sits. So I have some concerns that with this density and with what we're seeing elsewhere, that we may not have enough water, to keep approving developments. I also think that the market's changed, and the market could support a higher end product in that area than what it could in the past, which I think is a positive thing. I would say that even if the developer walks away, I think it would be useful for the commission, when it comes back for a second reading, to kind of indicate what, if anything, we would approve there. It may be something this developer's not interested in, but for me, I'm going to be in favor of something. This isn't it. So hopefully, if we don't have the votes for this, we can at least talk about what development should look like out there. That's it. Thanks.
I was against this development last time around over density and roads, and my position hasn't changed.
Any other comments, Mr. Cornell, anything?
No, sir.
Any public comment? Yes, sir.
My name is Mike Stowell. I live at 7617 Frog Log Lane. Kind of heartened to hear some of these comments. Again, this is the second time around for us on this. We have so many of our neighbors out here because we feel we have something special out there. We have kind of a rural feel in an urban area, and that's a good thing, I think, for any city to have kind of a mix of density and low density, and that was the whole point of the Sunnyside agreement from the previous, which I understand you're not bound by that. But I agree with you, Commissioner Roebuck. That's land. Somebody owns that land. Not naive to think that nothing would ever be built on that. But the kind of development we want to see is kind of what we already have. And I would encourage Commission to keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. My name is David Hedrick. I live at 7146 Sunnyside Drive, right across the street from Frog Log Lane. I moved here a year ago from California, and I like to say I escaped from that state because it has changed quite a bit. We have a very special area over there. It's paradise for us that live there. And it sounds like somebody wants to tear down paradise and put up a parking lot. For what? It will be for somebody's profit. It won't be for the city, because the city's going to have to do the infrastructure for it sooner or later. It will actually cost the city more. All I ask is, if you have a piece of property like this that draws people from all over the country into this area, because it is beautiful, it represents Florida, and I just love it here. I just ask, please don't let Florida become California again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, well, this item will also lay over to a future meeting. Staff has kind of been given some instructions on what commissioners need and any other documentation that you have, if you could share it so that everyone can be privy to the information before we come to the second reading. That being all, we'll move on, and thank you. Yes, sir. Can you come to the microphone real quick, sir, so we can get you on record?
Gary said something about providing you with the information. He's going to send you a copy, but is that accessible to the public?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if I could come down and if I was.
And Greg, whatever you give, will you give to Andy as well? And then the clerk's office will have it.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. So move to non-routine items. We have none. Information reports. We have a financial reports as of August 2021. Mr. City Manager, anything that we need to be aware of? All right, thank you. City Attorney items.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. City Manager items.
I just wanted to bring your attention to the pool. We missed our date there. Obviously, we were trying to get a Labor Day opening on the pool. that we missed that. When we missed that, Evergreen changed it to October 29. They're still angling for that. I'm going to say they're probably about 90% complete. Just having some wrap-up issues with getting everything done. Probably, although Evergreen hasn't said it, we're staff-wise probably more like Thanksgiving. Whatever that case is, obviously we're constantly reviewing it, and hopefully it's closer to the 29th date so we can at least have a little swim season before it gets too cold, but we'll keep everybody posted.
Thank you, sir. How's the teen center? You got an update on teen center?
Cliff, teen center's cruising along. We're still looking at, that was like a March deadline, right? March 22. Yep.
Okay. All right. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Peterson?
Nothing tonight.
Commissioner Burry?
Nothing tonight.
Commissioner Roebuck?
Nothing tonight.
Commissioner Connell?
Nothing.
Mayor Christian?
Nothing tonight. Meeting adjourned.